All right, here we go. What's going on, everybody? Stocks by the numbers. Welcome back. And I wanted to do just a quick long form video again, just recapping a bunch of stocks and a couple of things that happened today or over the last couple of days, and just bring everybody up to speed if you are unable to catch the stream. In my opinion, you should make it a priority to be on the stream with us, or at least be in the Discord. Again, we have our Discord. A lot of you are not in the Discord. And we have our nice little Discord channel. You can come in there and you can talk about some nonsense. You can come in, you can post the chart you're looking at. Some people make some mentions, some things they're keeping an eye on. Nice little back and forth going, but it's up to you. But first thing I wanted to talk about Draftkings, DKNG here on the NASDAQ. Draftkings, we can see, has actually been beaten up down here in the low 30s over the last couple of days, right? If we just back up here, we can see we came down, we tested the support down here at 32, 32 and a half first, actually. And then you can see the bounce back to about 35, back down all the way slightly through support to sub 32, then the bounce back to 36. And we're back down here to 33 today. Started to climb and then had a big pop after hours, as you see here. But the stock has, in my opinion, looks like it's been wanting to find its support here in the low 30s and try to bounce up. We chunked down. We had this channeling here. Again, it was announced, I don't remember who is doing parlays, so they shaved 10 points off DraftKings immediately. And basically, the whole time it was going down, in my opinion, I was saying, call shares. Excuse me. But we had some news today. After hours, you can see the stock is still above 35. DraftKings launching DraftKings Prediction, mobile app for trading contracts on event outcomes in finance, culture, entertainment, all this stuff. They acquired a company called Railbird to advance future growth in prediction markets. And someone even mentioned in the Discord, which is maybe why you should come in, that DraftKings, it was one of the few things they were missing, supposedly, when they were viewed through the lens of analysts, right? So maybe they were looking a little more favorably on some of these other companies as opposed to DraftKings. But now, if this is the kind of one piece of the puzzle that DraftKings was missing, then in my opinion, should easily bring the stock back up to the 40s where it was. But we're also off of this news now. We're probably going to get back up to this fib. We're going to test that moving average, in my opinion, of about 36. We have trend lines here, 37, almost 38. And then, of course, we have earnings coming up next Friday. So probably going to continue, probably going to continue and run up and get above those trend lines. And then if they beat, we may see a nice immediate pop back to the mid-high 40s. Oh, my throat hurts, sorry. Did a lot of talking today. But that's DraftKings. I also wanted to bring up MBOT. MBOT, we can see again down here, 267. That's supposedly the low I said it would go when we first got the news of the offering. And also it looks like a potential descending wedge forming here. So you can see I drew out kind of this predicted path. So soon, hopefully, we're basically near the bottom and we bounce up and back up to about 3.5 maybe. But MBOT, we're looking for, we're going to start commercialization this quarter, I believe, Q4. And in my opinion, probably going to have an even better 2026. Who else were we looking at? We had PM has been chunking down. It's back here in the low 150s. They just posted earnings. SECO is hitting new highs. Up here, 136.5. Kept coming up. Been doing very well. SECO chunked down about 5% today. We saw gold and silver take a little bit of a breather today. AMD recently hit highs. almost 243. Stock looking really good, getting $300 price targets. Yeah, gold chunk down here to about 4,100 an ounce hitting. Silver came right back down to my trend line and now is having a slight bounce off the trend line. You don't say. Oil right back to the trend line, hanging out in my opinion. Going to climb back up a little bit. It should anyway. Fubo, hopefully we get that regulatory approval and the stock could pop again. LAC, I still like. I mean, you know, could come down here to the high fives, but I still like it here again. Recently hit highs of a little over 10.5. What else? Oh yeah, earnings today. Went 5 for 5 for earnings. Made some great calls here. I mentioned Netflix puts, and we can see that the profitability missed. They blamed Brazil. Revenue came in line at about 11.5 billion. Pretty impressive, but stock down about 6.25% after hours. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about ASTS as well. I mentioned puts in the Discord and on stream. Back. Yeah, it was like back here. It was last Thursday, and they did an offering, and the stock continued to climb, and it ran up here to $100. And again, at like 199, 98, I was saying puts, in my opinion, ASTS puts. I said it here. I said it again here. I said I still like ASTS puts, still like ASTS puts. And the stock, as you see, continued to drop down. Today, regular hours dropping down to 76 1/3. And now after hours dropping to 71.80. So any puts at any time on something like ASTS worked out very well just inside of the last couple of trading days. So we had a lot of people make money. We had Coca-Cola do exactly what we expected it to do. Let me bring up a little bit. Yeah, back up a little bit. Again, we had Coca-Cola on its way down to this trend line. I said, in my opinion, KO calls. I would start building a position in Coca-Cola. I would take a position in Coca-Cola. It started bouncing off the line as expected, rebounding nicely, got up to like 68 and change. Boom, earnings come out. We hit 71.39. Look at those numbers there. Nice healthy greens on the top and bottom. And what do you know? It comes exactly to the trend line and now stopped a little bit. It's hanging out at the moving average. So KO calls and shares, obviously, paid out very nicely as well. Intuitive Surgical reported earnings. Of course, it was yet another phenomenal quarter for ISRG. And you can see the stock spiking up here. Still up about 16% after hours. Huge spike, running up to $5.77 a share. Stock closed at about $4.63. I also mentioned Texas Instruments puts, which, as you see, worked out very well. The company comes in here, misses slightly on the EPS, but overall, in general, in my opinion, was just overvalued. So I felt puts were the play, and bang, stock takes an 8% drop. We also had Mattel. I said Mattel puts, and we can see the initial drop down to 14.5, and then it bounced. It's sitting here at about 17.5, but it's down 1.25 point, about 6.5%. And you can see miss there, a big miss on the EPS by about 16%, and about $100 million miss, or roughly 5% miss on the revenue side as well. So double miss for Mattel, and I just had a feeling that the tariffs were just, beating it up, and it was just going to be a weak quarter. So I mentioned puts. And Capital One, of course, financials have been strong. So COF, I said, in my opinion, COF calls, and of course, phenomenal quarter for COF on the EPS side, posting $5.95, estimates $4.37, but revenue comes in $15.36 billion, estimates $15.08 billion. So nice beat for Capital One, stock up about 4% after hours. And yeah, those are the earnings plays. I wanted to let you guys know about ASTS. And again, we had some other earnings come out in the morning, right? Coca-Cola, Philip Morris. So those are some of the moves that we saw there. And of course, the Draftkings news was just massive after hours. Oh yes, also Six Flags. More flags, more fun. Six Flags popped up, as you see here, still kind of going, trending upward here on its way, sitting at about 27 a share. The stock ended up climbing almost $4 full right going into the close here. You can see news came out at about 3:25 p.m., about 35 minutes before the close. Jumps up 17.7% on the close, continues to climb up, and you can see roughly $27, up another 5.25%. But stock went from 22 to 27 real quick on news that Travis Kelce takes a stake randomly. Obviously, not directly, but you can see here, join with an investing group to take a 9% stake in the amusement park operator Six Flags. Six Flags shares jumped 18% on the news, continued to rise. It's been a roller coaster ride for investors. Shares are down about 47% this year. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Kelce, Super Bowl winners in the group with activist fund John Partners, Glenn Murphy. There you go. John said it would engage with Six Flags board and management, quote, regarding opportunities to enhance shareholder value and improve the guest experience. The investment was disclosed. Managing partner Scott, just during the 13D. I'm a lifelong Six Flags fan and grew up going to these parks with my family and friends, Kelce said in a statement. The chance to help make Six Flags special for the next generation is one I couldn't pass up, especially when you now own 9% of the company. So, that obviously was responded to very positively, and the stock continued to climb, as you see, back up to 27, which basically is kind of where we started from almost. And then we had the bounce, obviously, then the gap down, but gap fill here, you can see about 28 3/4. I mean, right here, mid-range of the last drop is, high 30s, potentially near 31. Top end of that range, about 33.5. So there may even be a chunk of change to be made even after this pop. But it was just perfect timing as well, because even in the technicals, you can see, I mean, the stock's been down for quite some time, but even here, if I zoom in, I mean, essentially year to date, right, we started to fall off, and then you can see the big steps up and down, and then the tightening, basically forming this massive wedge, which nobody was paying attention to. That's how they do it, right? No. Yeah, it'd be there. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. Yeah, son of a bitch. But again, this may be very short-lived, right? We got some hype. We could start running up in the short term. And of course, we're not going to see this potential impact immediately in these earnings in roughly 2 weeks, right? So we'd have to wait for some impact for the next 1 to 2 quarters, which technically is now their slow time of the year. So we can have a pop, and then maybe we might just kind of give it all back, right? Slowly over time, like the stock has been doing. So I did want to mention it. It was, a big move going into the close, and apparently still moving after hours. But, yeah, it was worth mentioning, but might be short term. But that's pretty much it, so I'll end it there. But once again, Stocks by the Numbers, thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually pretty quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm helps me get more eyes on the channel. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky, they're volatile, and they're very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.